All right. I mean, it's the World Cup. What else do we need than people who usually, in countries that are usually side-eyeing each other on the news, suddenly hugging in the stands? And that's kind of what I love. So, this is QFW Parenting with KeisaB. Welcome back to the table, builders. If your house has been anything like mine these past few weeks, the World Cup has taken over the living room. And I kind of love how there's some people out there who usually might be fighting with each other, countries that are side-eyeing, that are at war even, but they come together and they're hugging during the World Cup. And just like music, I think sports can really bring people together when it is played with respect and love. And I don't know, I've kind of got a feeling from it, but it's really interesting because my Q fam and I also caught ourselves doing this thing where every time we look up, there's a different country. We're like, oh, France, Spain, England, Argentina. We're like, huh, or whatever country it might have been. And we're like, oh, we might cheer for them, but they were a colonizer, or "Oop, they don't really accept people like us." So we also try to keep it real when we're watching these things. And yes, we are still cheering, but we're rolling our eyes at the exact same time. So wherever lifts that trophy at the end, that part doesn't really change in this instance because there's always something. But a question too that was brought up by my wife was, so do we start judging some of these places not by their past, but what they're doing in their present day? I think it's a valid point. I'm interested in what you all think and add that to the comments because that is a really interesting take because the world and countries have changed dramatically. Some have been a lot better opening their borders to different countries that they did colonize at one point so that those people can have a lot of the things that their citizens do. And so, yeah, what do you think in the comments? But it also got me thinking about something bigger than soccer. Because cheering for a country on TV, is one thing, but actually living there with your family, well, that's a whole different conversation. So today, let's have that conversation because it's so valid right now and it's on point and it's something we haven't really tackled here yet at the table. So this whole month, we've been sitting down in the disability conversation, benefits, accommodations, what it's actually like to take care for people we love. And I will be honest with you, it's a lot. And if you spent this month on hold with an insurance company or rereading an IEP for the fourth time or filling out a form that asks you to prove yet one more time that your family's need is real, I see you. And that mental load is real. It is heavy, and you are not imagining how tired you are. And we got you. And if somewhere in there you've had this thought late at night or with some friends, like have you ever had that thought, is there somewhere out there that would just make this easier? Well, you're not being dramatic. You're being a builder, which is what we're here for. And you're doing the exact thing builders do by thinking through the what ifs. You are the one that looks what it is. And you ask, what could life be? And the thing about raising or caring for someone with a disability in this country, in the United States of America, is so much of that exhaustion is not the caregiving itself. It is the fighting for the ramp, fighting for the aid, fighting for the coverage you already pay for, and making that same phone call 3 times or to 3 different people who each tell you to call someone else. Yeah. And in the back of your mind, you're running the quiet math all the time. What does this cost, right? What is going to be covered? And what happens next year when the plan changes yet again? And the math is that tax nobody warned us about. And it is worth asking out loud whether it has to be this heavy everywhere, or whether somebody somewhere has actually built it differently, has already done the advocacy, has already done the work, and their society has changed because of it. That's a great question. So I went looking, and I found a number that stopped me in my tracks. The United States spends more on healthcare than any country on earth. Roughly $13,500 per person every single year. And on the quality of that care, one big 2026 global ranking put us at number 40. 40. Number 40 for the most expensive system in the world. Meanwhile, the country sitting at number 1 in that same ranking was Taiwan. And Taiwan gets their spending about $2,400 ahead. That's roughly a sixth of what we spend for better care. So the question stops being, is the grass greener? And the question becomes, wait, is somebody else actually doing this better? And the answer is yes, several bodies. So let's talk about what they are actually doing, because that part is the whole point. All right, quick pause, builders. Wherever your family is in this journey, here's something worth 2 minutes of your time. QFW Travel is live at qfamilyway.com/travel. It's a free tool that scores 29 countries across 5 safety factors built specifically for families like ours: legal protections, healthcare, racial equity, political stability, and cost of living, plus everything else you can think of. Take the free quiz, no sign up required to start. See where your family could really thrive. That's qfamilyway.com/travel. Now back to the show. So when you line up the countries at the top, they are not the biggest spenders. They are the smartest builders. And they tend to share the same few things. First, universal coverage. So Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, they cover basically everybody through one system. And that one design choice quietly deletes the exhausting part. Nobody is on the phone proving they deserve the care. The fight to prove you belong tax, yeah, that's gone. It just is not part of their everyday. And the second, well, they build for access, not just spending. So they have dense hospital networks. So care is close. Preventive care up front, so problems get caught early instead of exploding into an emergency later. And it is the difference between a system designed to catch you and a system designed to bill you. Third, and this one matters most for our disability conversation we're having today. In the strongest countries, accessibility is written into the law. The ramp, the elevator, the accessible train, inclusive classrooms. Those are not favors you fight for one lawsuit at a time. They are the baseline, the default, built in, not bolted on. And in Europe is where you see this stacked up highest. More than half of the top 25 best healthcare systems in the world are in Europe. Think the Netherlands, Austria, Finland, Denmark, Spain. broad access, low financial barriers, care that is just easier to use. I got to throw in France as well, one of the best healthcare systems. And people use it even if you came and you were visiting and you then got a permanent resident. You don't have to wait for years to get and use their system. And it's excellent. So that is the pattern. Not more money, but better design. A system where using it is the easy path, not the exhausting one. But here's where I have to slow all the way down, because this is the thing nobody else does for our families. When we ask, where would my family be better off? We are actually asking 3 different questions, and they have 3 different answers. So question 1 could be, where is the best healthcare quality? And that is the list I just gave you, Taiwan and the European bloc. There's also some in South America, like Ecuador, that is excellent healthcare. Question 2, well, where is the best disability support? And that is a different list. That one actually has Sweden, the Netherlands, Canada, Japan, Germany, Norway, Australia. The places where accessibility is law and inclusive education is the default. And then question 3, where is my family actually safe? Queer, interracial, mixed, non-traditional. Different again. That is a different list and a different ranking. And this is the one no single ranking measures for us. Watch how easily these come apart. So 2 of the best countries in the world for disability support, Sweden and Canada, do not even crack the top 25 for raw healthcare quality. Sweden's wait times drags its quality score way down, even while its social support leads the planet. It's the same country, but one has great on one measure and kind of middle of the pack on the other. And it cuts the other way too. So Japan is genuinely incredible on accessibility. Trains that actually work for a wheelchair, infrastructure most of us can only dream about. If you've never been to Japan, or if you've been to Japan, you get what I'm saying. You've seen it in practice. But if you're a queer family or an interracial one, well, the picture gets complicated fast. So a country can be built for one part of who you are and not built for the rest. And that is the trap of the single axis list. You can't stack on one axis and call it done. You have to stack up on all of them at once. The way our families actually have to live. So watch what happens when we do. So 2 countries show up on the disability support list. And on our top 5 for LGBTQ plus interracial, mixed race, and non-traditional families. That's Canada and the Netherlands. And the Netherlands actually does something almost no other country does. It also lands at number 3 in the entire world for healthcare quality. So that is strong care, strong accessibility, and strong on the identities that make up our families all at once. So when one country clears that many bars in a row, well, that's not luck. That is a signal. And still, because it's the table, we lay out the whole truth. Even though there's overlap, it comes with some fine print. So Canada, for instance, has a rule where an immigration application can actually be refused if officials decide your family's disability would put, and this is their language, excessive demand on their healthcare system. Yeah, Repeat that back slowly. A country that is wonderful for disability can still put up a wall in front of the very families who need it most. So no, there is no perfect place. There never is. But a place that is safer and more supported on more of the axes that make up your actual family. Absolutely. Yeah, that absolutely exists. And now you know 2 of them to start with. And I want to be clear about who this is for, because when I say caregiver, I mean all of us. Maybe you are a disabled parent, building a family while navigating your own body. This is for you. And maybe you are raising a kid with a disability. Well, this is for you. And maybe you're caring for an aging parent or a sibling or someone in your chosen family that the world does not count, but you do. Well, this is for you too. There is no version of caregiver that is too far outside the lines for this table. And if you're holding someone up, you belong in this conversation. And look, most of us are not relocating tomorrow. So the most useful thing in all of this is not a plane ticket, it's a scorecard. Because everything the top countries do, you can name and you can fight for right where you are. So let me outline them for you. They treat coverage as universal, so nobody wastes energy proving their needs are real. They invest in catching problems early, preventive care. They write accessibility into the law, and they make inclusive classrooms the default. And they back it up with protections that actually have some teeth. So carry that home. Know your rights. The ADA for you, a 504 plan, or an IEP for your child. Push your school for inclusive classrooms, not segregated ones. And find your local disability advocacy organization, because you were never meant to do this alone and you don't have to. And last but definitely not least, vote. Like healthcare and disability policy are on the ballot, because they are. The countries at the top of these lists, they didn't stumble into it. Somebody advocated for years until the easy path became the default. And that is the builder work, and it counts just as much from your own zip code as it does from anywhere abroad. So here is how to actually use this, not just feel it. This week, I'm putting up a new kitchen note that breaks all this down on the page. The full ranking, we discussed the disability picture, the identity picture stacked up side by side, so you can see the whole board in one place. And it plugs straight into QFW Travel. And that is the platform where we score countries across 5 safety dimensions. So you are never making one of the biggest decisions of your life off a vibe or a viral post. You get the full picture all in one place. So that's QFW Travel. You can find all those things at qfamilyway.com or qfamilyway.com/travel. They're all sitting there for you. And if you missed it, go back to our last episode, Parenting with and Through Disability. In our top 5 countries post, everything I said today builds right on top of those 2. Now, before we close, I want to leave you holding something. And not a to-do, no, not a to-do list. A question, and the one that is probably already sitting in the back of your mind. What would my family actually need to feel safe and supported somewhere else? You don't have to answer it today, and you definitely don't have to book a flight. Just let yourself ask it out loud, maybe with someone you trust. And if you have already been asking it, if you have lived somewhere, looked somewhere, learned something the hard way, well, come tell us. Drop it in the comments. Send it our way, and let's work on this together. I'm here to listen, and I'm also here to help. Tag the builder in your life who has been quietly asking these same questions in the middle of the night so they know they are not the only one wandering. Because the map we are building, we built it together. And every story makes it more real for the next family. So that is what is on the table today, builders. Take care of the people you love, and don't forget to take care of you. Be well. Before you go, builders, KeisaB Travel is live. It's a free tool scoring 29 countries on safety, legal protections, and more, built for families just like ours. Take the quiz at qfamilyway.com/travel. It takes minutes and it's completely free. Link is in the description. Thanks, and see you next time.